Something interesting is happening right now, not just in fashion, but in how consumers are behaving. Styles that felt finished years ago are suddenly back in conversation, not quietly, loudly. And when culture starts looping like this, it is usually worth paying attention. Because repetition in culture often shows up before repetition in spending. If you have been online at all lately, you have probably seen it. Throwback playlists, arguments about skinny jeans, mid 2010 aesthetics everywhere. Google searches for the 2016 aesthetic have spiked to all time highs. But let's look at this from a market perspective. Because if skinny jeans are coming back, people have to be buying them from somewhere. For investors and operators, trends like this can be early signals of where consumer money might flow next. Social media hype alone does not matter. What matters is whether brands can actually convert attention into sales. When I think of 2016, a few brands immediately come to mind: Abercrombie, Hollister, Victoria's Secret, Urban Outfitters. But here is the important part. Buzz does not automatically mean returns. If you look at how these companies have performed recently, only Victoria's Secret has clearly outperformed the broader market. The others have not. So it is not enough for a brand to trend again. Leadership matters, strategy matters, execution matters. And this is where it gets interesting. We may still be very early in this cycle. If this trend sticks, the opportunity is usually in getting positioned before the market fully prices it in. But the real question is duration. How long does this interest last? I always find it fascinating when cultural trends resurface, because the first question is always, why now? Historically, these things move in roughly 20-year cycles. Something disappears, a generation grows up, and then it comes back. But this one feels different. 10 years is a very short cycle. This comeback is happening faster than expected. And I think part of the reason is emotional, not just aesthetic. In 2016, we were in a strange moment. There was uncertainty, political anxiety, but there was not full exhaustion yet. There was still a sense that things might work out. And 2026 feels similar. Consumers today feel cautious. They feel pessimistic in surveys, but they are still spending. That disconnect is important. People say they are worried about big ticket items, homes, cars, long-term commitments, but they are still buying smaller things. And this is where the lipstick index comes in. When consumers feel constrained, they often look for small indulgences: a lipstick, a pair of jeans, a bag, something familiar. It is comfort spending. So even if sentiment around the economy is negative, that does not automatically mean retail demand collapses. It often shifts instead. And this is where 2016 fits perfectly. Skinny jeans, athleisure, mall brands, these are familiar, predictable, not overwhelming. Now here is something that surprised me. Even though e-commerce continues to dominate overall, younger consumers are returning to physical malls, and it makes sense. When you shop online, you are hit with infinite choice. Too many options, too many decisions. In a store, the choices are curated. You can try things on, you can feel the product, and the experience is simpler. So improving mall foot traffic helps explain why brands tied to mid 2010 comfort categories may have an edge right now. And this is where Zena comes in. Because when cultural shifts like this happen, the winners are not just the brands that feel nostalgic. They are the brands that recognize the signal early and execute properly across channels. At Zena, we help brands translate signals like search behavior, trend data, and shopper intent into listings, pricing, and ad strategies that actually convert. That is how attention turns into revenue. Now, this trend is not about reliving the past. It is about using the past to feel stable in an uncertain future. I will be watching this closely to see if sales data starts to match what consumers say they find fun and cool right now. because that is when a trend moves from culture into balance sheets. My take is simple: this has legs, it feels real, but it is still early, and that is usually where the opportunity is.